Hi. Since we last spoke, we had a superstar injury, one that could be season defining. And the injury was to Steph Curry, especially when you thought that Draymond Green was back and you'll see
Yeah,
Klay Thompson and Steph Curry and Draymond Green play together. And for the first time in like, what, 2.5 years, 3 years almost,
yeah, yeah.
Steph Curry gets injured in this first game back for Draymond Green. And the Warriors are now struggling. I mean, they've dropped to third spot and they don't look like they'll catch on to the second spot. But even more dangerous is that they might fall to the fourth spot, even the fifth spot if
Yeah.
they continue their terrible run. So we'll talk about the Warriors on today's episode. Okay, so this was last week, and Warriors versus the Celtics. Marcus Smart and Steph Curry get into a 50-50 ball, you could say that. And Marcus Smart lands on Steph Curry's leg. In the same play, by the way, Marcus Smart goes and drop kicks Klay Thompson in the
Yeah.
same position.
Yeah, yeah.
It was not even called a foul. But Steph Curry in the first play, he didn't get up. I mean, he got up and he found some uh, discomfort in his
Yeah.
legs, and then he walks out of the game. He doesn't return, and then the MRI reveals that okay, it's no fracture, but he'll be out for at least 2 weeks. He'll be reevaluated in 2 weeks. While you might think, okay, great, it's not really a fracture, he won't be out long term, but the Warriors this season have been struggling without Steph Curry. The Warriors in the last 3 seasons, in fact, without Steph Curry, are 18 and 58. That's how bad they depend on Steph Curry. What does this board for the Warriors? I mean, they're not going to catch on to the second spot. Do you think they'll drop to the fourth? And what does that mean? I mean, that means you'll run into Luka Doncic right in the first round. What do you make of the situation?
Man, boy, they can't catch a break, can they? The Warriors. I mean, first KD leaves, then Clay gets injured, out for the season, and then they decide to play anyway, and Steph's playing well, and then he's out for the season or long term anyway, and which eventually they convert to effectively for the season. He'll come back,
Yep.
do a little showboating at the that season.
Played one game, right?
Yeah, I remember because fantasy team. I held him. I held him for like 2 months for that one game. And then the next season came, and they thought, okay, Clay, this is it. Like the Splash Bros, baby, let's go. And then preseason, boom, the season didn't even start, and boom, Clay's out for another entire damn season, and then some, because even this season he missed months of play. Finally, he comes back. Draymond drops dead. Draymond comes back. Now Steph is gone. I mean, I don't know, they'll have to get their vastu checked somewhere in the arena, maybe fill their swimming pool with sand, something like that, like take a leaf
Probably
out of
the new arena. They just need to go back to Oakland and play in that old arena.
No, they should take a leaf out of the Hyderabad Cricket Association's book, right? And when the home team was losing too many matches, they just filled the swimming pool with sand and dug a new swimming pool elsewhere. Do something like that. It's tough. Okay, so what implications does this have? I think I won't look too much into the stats of Warriors without Steph for the past few seasons, because that's also without Clay, and then it's without KD. There was a void there and all of that. So that not too much emphasis on the past, but just the eyeball test and structurally how they've been playing this season. Steph's been their talisman. Everyone's done well. Draymond's done exceptionally well. We can just come up. Jordan Poole has been a revelation, really.
Yep.
The kind of guy who you're intrigued. He's not quite a Ja Morant, but in the same vein as Ja Morant, you want to see how this guy plays in the playoffs. Right. Like Gary Trent Jr., right? Comes in, puts a bunch of big shots. Can he do this in the playoffs? As it turns out, he can. Under pressure he can. So that curiosity is the same. But Steph Curry remains the talisman. He remains the guy that drives this team. I see opportunity. I think they'll go down. They've already been overtaken by the Grizzlies. Very good chance they'll be overtaken by the Jazz. And as we were talking about just before the show, may or may not be overtaken by the Mavs, but it doesn't matter, because either way, that's the matchup. It's if the Jazz cross the Warriors, then it's Warriors versus Mavs. It's just about home court advantage, who finishes above who. And that's a tricky matchup, but let's see. Let's get there and cross that bridge when we come to it. I think what I would look at here is, I think they'll drop. That's the realistic outcome. But this is an opportunity. It is an opportunity for Wiggins to step up a little more, because he'll get more of the ball. It's an opportunity for Kuminga and Bjelica, the people on the fringes, to pick up their roles and contribute more. It's an opportunity for Jordan Poole to shine. But more than anything else, it is an opportunity for Klay Thompson to show us who he really is. We saw what Steph can do without Klay.
Yeah.
What can Klay do without Steph? And that's the real question, because everything else is there. You're just swapping Klay for Steph. now the light is bright on Klay Thompson. I'd be intrigued to see what he can achieve.
Yeah, so chasing for the second spot, that you can forget for now, right?
Yeah, that's gone. That's gone.
So it's a battle for the third spot. Utah Jazz are like 2 games behind the Warriors right now. The Mavs are 4.5 games. It might or might not happen. 4.5 games catching up in 12 games. It's kind of a little
it's tough.
out of the question. It's a little tough, right? Yeah. But Luka versus the Warriors, even if Steph returns, the Mavs have a better head-to-head against the Warriors this season. They've shown that they can trap Steph Curry and not get him to do anything, right? That they did that in the previous game against the Warriors. How do you see that matchup turning out if it happens to
Luka's the X factor, no? I think.
Of course. I mean, it's pretty
Luka
much that's it. And 4 other guys. And
by the way, where are the haters? When I said the Dinwiddie move, I told y'all this is big. I told y'all he's excellent. He is so underrated. Washington doesn't know what the fuck they're doing with his talent. I've seen him in Brooklyn. He is amazing. Has he or has he not been scintillating since he's moved to the Mavs?
He has.
He's been amazing.
2 consecutive game winners on 2 consecutive game winners. Luka trusting him more than that is amazing because
it's a great fit too, right? I think you just plonked right into the team. Didn't take a lot of.
It's a great fit. So the hate was not really for Dinwiddie as such. The hate was like Dinwiddie and Bertans for Porzingis. It felt like Mavs undersold this whole deal. That was the whole question.
Yeah, and my bone of contention was, we're looking at Porzingis in terms of what it could be if he is fit. That is the biggest fucking if in basketball. And right up there with Towns and Embiid and all that. That is one. 2, when the hell has he given them one full good season, the Mavs? Never, not once. Somewhere or the other he would go down. Even if he's been fit through the regular season, he'll go down in the playoffs and leave Luka hanging. Versus, in return, they've kind of moneyballed Porzingis, right? They've not replaced the rim protection, but rim protection is kind of hard to achieve when there is no court presence in the first place. So that part they've lost. Okay, fully fit prime KP and his rim protection they've lost. That defense they've lost. But have they got his outside scoring? Yes, they found another European white dude who can shoot from beyond. So Bertans again, by the way, underrated. With Luka's passing, I'm more than happy to have Bertans there taking some shots, and he's given glimpses of that ability. With Dinwiddie, I think they have an excellent guard, which is probably a step up from what they had in Seth Curry, which is something they have been missing for a while. And I legit believe Dinwiddie can rise to somewhere of a Middleton mold, even if a notch below Middleton's performance level. That sort of a contribution to the team and importance. I think he can get there. Offensively at least, right? So that's where I was coming from, saying, look, they have this piece that is virtually untradeable because who the hell wants to take a punt on him, on Porzingis? Getting anything in return is a big deal, but getting some outside shooting and a legit first team player who can walk into several first teams in the league with potential upside. It's not a bad move. It's a mid-season trade. It's as best as you can do. It was a question of trade him now or get even lesser value in the future. They delayed the trade. I believe it should have come last season when he was fit and playing well. But I thought they did the best they could in the current scenario.
Yeah, that game, Mavs was the Nets. That was like an absolute. That was like a playoff game. The intensity, the crowd was going at it. You had 2 superstars, Luka taking on KD. Both of them putting on great performances as well, and then going down to the last second, right? The last shot, the last position. That was a total playoff scenario, and you could.
And which is probably what you'll see right against the Warriors, because it'll come down to that. If the games are close, and without Steph Curry, you saw what happened against San Antonio. Sure, it was a one-shot game. Close, could have gone either way. The problem is not that they lost a close game. The problem is they had no business letting it get close in the first place.
Exactly.
And that's the impact of Steph Curry's absence, right? So with Luka, if the game goes to tight end game scenarios, I find it very difficult to bet against Luka because he can shoot, he can create a shot, and he can create a shot for anyone on the team. It's, he's with the scalpel. He's like a surgeon trying to pick apart your, he's performing cornea surgery or something.
It's difficult to believe that Luka can miss a shot in those situations. I don't think I remember seeing him miss an important shot. He just goes there, does whatever he wants against whoever he wants, and gets the shot.
He's a taller, hyper-elevated, possibly better playmaker version of Trae Young in the clutch. And for me, that's the tough part. But having said that, if the Warriors are fully fit, it should not be a problem to dispatch the Mavs. The Mavs just don't have the defense the Warriors do.
What this does though is, by moving to the 4th seed, even if you beat the Mavs, you meet Phoenix Suns, one round earlier, right? Is that going to be a problem? Because you are expecting, okay, you'll meet Phoenix Suns in the finals, whole different atmosphere, but you'll face them in the second round now. And then in the final, it will probably be Jazz or Memphis or who knows what. But meeting
Yeah,
Phoenix Suns one round earlier, does that impact does that impact anything at all?
it shouldn't. If anything, first of all, there are several championship runs where the toughest team the team would have faced would be in the semis and not in the conference finals.
Right.
Just take last season. Bucks faced Brooklyn in the semis, not in the finals. The
Yep.
finals were against Atlanta, which were easy pickings for them. Even without Giannis, they got it done. And they went into the finals with some momentum. They did fuck all with it for the first two games, but they went in with some rest and momentum. So I don't think so. And if you're winning, Golden State are locked in on the championship, right? That's their aspiration. You're going to face the best teams at some point. How does it matter whether it's the semis
True.
or the finals? I don't think that should play too much into it. I think the bigger problem is Phoenix and Golden State are two of the best home crowds in the NBA.
Right.
Which means they will weigh in on the results.
Right.
Nothing is quite as rapturous as a full-blown Golden State arena with the Splash Brothers and KD and all that. I've never heard anything in the modern era, at least in the last, say, 10 years. Why am I saying modern era? Last 10 years, I haven't heard anything better than that. Miami's come close, but that's the real disadvantage. So 4 games to Phoenix at home with their arena is going to make it that much tougher to overcome. But that's the only disadvantage. Otherwise, semis, finals, you're bound to play them at some point.
Absolutely. The Warriors have a tough road stretch coming out. They face the Miami Heat next, and then they have a bunch of away games. So it's going to be tough for the Warriors the next 12 games as they close out the regular season. We'll see how they does. But that's all on today's episode. We'll come back and talk tomorrow about the Celtics, a team that I'm really excited to talk about because of their incredible run. But we'll do that tomorrow. And that's all. See you.
All right. Peace.
Bye.